Hola Messi turns Messi. Football frenzy becomes a farce. Pay 10,000 rupees for 10 minutes of Messi. Irate fans unleash fury at the management. Messi leaves in a huff while Mamata apologizes. Didi must resign, demands BJP. Who's to blame for this global disgrace? That's the top focus on India today.
Very good evening, viewers. You are watching India Today with me, Sriya Kundu, and this hour we are focusing on a rather crucial story that's taken place today. For months, Kolkata waited for a dream to come true. A city that breathes football was ready, but what it got was chaos and confusion. A mess instead of the legend Messi. Messi's event in Kolkata turns messy, wherein what was meant to be a once-in-a-lifetime moment for fans who paid rupees 5,000 and more to watch Lionel Messi in Kolkata descended into chaos at the Vivekananda Juba Bharati Salt Lake Stadium. Fans threw bottles, broke chairs and ransacked the very field. The TMC blamed the event organizer for the chaos, while the BJP has slammed the TMC. And there is politics that's already taken over the entire situation. Here's a report as to what happened before we proceed further into understanding and analyzing the very turn of events.
It was supposed to be a day when the footballing god blessed his fans. The fever and frenzy was at its peak, the fans supercharged. But it all descended into an ugly farce of mayhem and mismanagement. And in a matter of just 10 minutes, Messi's grand Kolkata show turned messy. The football legend, who's on a 3-day 4-city tour to India, had started his trip with Kolkata. The city known for its deep and emotional ties with the beautiful game. The jam-packed Salt Lake Stadium was on its toes to welcome Lionel Messi, many of whom were emotional at the thought of getting a glimpse of the legend. The World Cup winner even met Bollywood icon Shah Rukh Khan, and the two legends were supposed to greet the crowd together. But that did not happen. The overwhelming numbers in the crowd led to Messi's event being cut short to just 10 minutes. Even when they finally got a glimpse of the footballing icon, it was Messi surrounded by a swarm of babus and security, barely visible to his legions of supporters. Naturally, fans were left fuming. They resorted to violence. First came flying bottles, then came chairs. It didn't end there. They ransacked the field, broke barricades, even vandalized canopies.
Well, we can see the chaos broke out over here on the Messi's GOAT program. As we have seen already that there is allegation of mismanagement against the presenters, as well as the people over here got agitated after Messi were being taken inside the stadium.
इवेंट जो किया है ये पूरा गलती उनका है। सब उनको घेर के रखा था, कोई भी पब्लिक उनको देख नहीं पाया। किसी ने 10,000 का टिकट खरीदा, किसी ने 15,000 का टिकट खरीदा, किसी ने 20,000 का टिकट खरीदा, ब्लैक में टिकट खरीदा लोग फिर भी नहीं देख पाया। कोई आदमी रो रहा है, हम तो देख ही नहीं पाए, पूरे दुनिया देख नहीं पाया।
10,000 का टिकट कट के आया था मेदिनीपुर से, खड़गपुर मेदिनीपुर से हम आया था कल शाम को 6 बजे से हायत रेजिडेंसी आके खड़ा था, क्योंकि हम मेसी को देखने वाला मेरा भगवान जैसा है, तो उसको देखने के लिए जब खड़ा था मेरे को जेट प्लस सिक्योरिटी देके अटका रखा हुआ उधर कि हम पाकिस्तान से आया हुआ बंदा हूँ, ऐसा लग रहा था मुझे।
We are very disappointed because हम अपने it's a weekend right for the children and we came that my child was so excited कि हम मेसी को देखेंगे, पर हम मेसी को नहीं देखे। It was full disappointment, and it's a scam I think for people around.
Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who was on her way to attend the event, apologized for the chaos. She informed that the incident will be probed. Her party TMC passed the buck and blamed the organizers.
এই আয়োজক এটা হচ্ছে নাকি শুধু টাকা, শুধু ব্যবসা, আর যে ক্রীড়া প্রেমীরা এখানে গেলেন পুরো যুব ভারতী ভরিয়ে অনেক বড় ডার্বিতেও এত লোক হয় না।
Under fire, the Kolkata police has promised to take action against the perpetrators and has begun by arresting the organizer of the event.
सवेरे जो इनसे 3 चीज़ है, नॉर्मलसी अभी टोटली है, ठीक है, जिनको जो नॉर्मलसी की बात थी सब हो गया है। सेकंड पार्ट इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, एफआईआर इज बीन लॉन्च, और जो चीफ ऑर्गेनाइजर है ही हैज बीन अरेस्टेड एंड इंक्वायरी कमेटी की जाएगी।
But the opposition BJP and even Bengal's governor were in no doubt that Didi Sarkar was responsible for the chaos.
पश्चिम बंगाल में आज जो घटना घटी वो दर्शाता है कि पश्चिम बंगाल में तृणमूल कांग्रेस ने कैसे पश्चिम बंगाल को बना दिया है। वैसे कि इसमें लूट हुई है, बोतल जेब होके वो भी तृणमूल के लोग हैं, अरूप विश्वास के लोग बोल रहे हैं लोग कि अरूप विश्वास के लोग हैं, तो पूरा मेसी का मेज बना के रख दिया तृणमूल कांग्रेस ने और तृणमूल कांग्रेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन।
The visit of the football icon Messi has been used by the organizers for self-seeking monetary benefit for them. Who is responsible for this payment? Will the organizer please raise his hand? And secondly, where are the police?
A state that prides on its footballing culture, a government that has Khela Hobe as its political slogan, has overseen a sporting shame of truly goated levels. With Anirban Sinha Roy and Anupam Mishra in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, before opening this question, or rather throwing this question to a panel who will in fact be telling us both sides of the story as to what exactly went down, let's also take a look at this very episode from a sports perspective, as Nikhil Naz also joins us at this given point. Nikhil, a very good evening to you. Very firstly, there's a clear lapse in the management that could be seen today, and it is not the first of its kind that's been seen in Bengal. So the question remains, why did the organizer not have a proper planning in place, in structure, to ensure that the smooth execution took place of the program, and what lay ahead for the 3 cities that they are to host Messi in?
Well, just imagine, this was an event that was supposed to be a celebration. This was an event that was going to put Kolkata on the world map. This was going to be an event which football fans would have remembered for a lifetime. Instead, what have we got? We've got a moment to forget. The scenes that we saw unfolding there at the Salt Lake Stadium are scenes that are now going to be distributed across the world, because, as you know, Lionel Messi is a global icon. Everything he does makes global news. Those pictures of aggrieved fans taking apart the seats of the stadium, throwing them in the middle, fans walking onto the pitch, vandalizing the property of the stadium, the goal post being pulled out. I mean, those were horrible, horrible scenes that we witnessed. On most occasions, you will point the finger at the fans, but you'd have to say at this time, the men responsible for this has to be the organizers. I believe in the latest, what we're hearing, Satradu Datta, the organizer, the sole organizer, has been arrested from the Kolkata airport. Remember, he was on his way to Hyderabad. That's where the second leg of the tour was to start. He's, of course, a businessman, a sports enthusiast, and he's the one who's managed to get Lionel Messi. But I think that's where the problem lies. I think, managing a sports event is a very specialized field. And even though a person may have individual connect with a player or may have the finances to sponsor his trip to come to a country, but certain things are best left to professionals, and I think that's where they've been found wanting. I must share some inside details with you. I was in touch with a few people that were party to this event, not directly but indirectly. As you know, there are lots of agencies, lots of sponsors that were on board, and believe you me, I got messages from a lot of them yesterday itself that we're heading towards a disaster. And just to share those inside details, I asked some of my sources as to why do you think you're heading towards a disaster? It should be a celebration. And I was told because nothing has really been put down on paper. Nobody has any clue as to what the schedule is going to be like. It's all been put to one man to run the entire show, and he's keeping the cards so close to his chest, nobody knows. And that's eventually what we got to see as well, of pandemonium on the football pitch. And then I think if you look at the fans, I don't blame them, because a lot of them I was listening to have paid good money to travel from outside Kolkata, bought tickets for 12,000-15,000. Some of those football fans, I believe their monthly salary is 20,000, 30,000, and they paid 10,000 for this ticket. And what did they get? They get merely 15 minutes of Lionel Messi. That too, they can't see him on the giant screen. They have to really strain their neck to catch a glimpse of him. He's walking. There's no game. There's nothing. Imagine someone who's paid 10,000 just to see a small figure in the field for barely about 5 to 7 minutes. Clearly, it was not their money's worth. And that's why I think fans are like that. And I think what makes matters worse is the VIP culture that I'm afraid we've had in this country for very long. You have clear access to politicians who can get their jerseys signed, selfies taken, film stars getting private access, entrepreneurs, big names, cricket stars, from the city of Kolkata. We've seen all of them have got private access and this opportunity to speak to Messi, shake his hand, get their shirts signed, get their kids pictured with him. And then there are these actual football fans who don't even manage to get a glimpse. And I think that is what aggravated the anger of the fans, and that is what led to the scenes that we saw on the football pitch.
You've raised some very pertinent points, and it's ironic how the tonality of us discussing this very event has changed through the day. Nikhil, an event like this ends up scarring the nation in itself and its preparedness for hosting major sportsperson and other sporting events at large as well, which comes in as quite a disappointment for the sports fraternity at large and those who are aspiring to become athletes from not just this very state, not just this very city, but the nation at large when we look at such incidents taking place.
Well, how does this impact the future events that India would be hosting? It will negatively impact that for sure. As I mentioned earlier, whatever Messi is doing now is going to be making global headlines. The entire universe is going to be watching, because as you know, football is played in more countries than the members of UN that you have. So that's how popular football is, and that's how popular Lionel Messi is. So the world would be noticing. It's going to bring a lot of shame to the country. But in terms of hosting events, and I know directly you're going to link it, let's say, to the Commonwealth Games or the Olympic Games that India is going to organize. I think the difference there is that those games are organized and there's a structure in place. I think this was more a private event handled by people who have no idea how to manage an event of this scale, and that's why things have gone wrong. When you organize an Olympic Games or the Commonwealth Games, or you have other sporting events that you have the IPL here, you have the Hockey World Cups take place in India and various other big sporting events, and those I think still go incident free because you have professionals managing that. So in that sense, and I'll take you back to the Commonwealth Games as well that happened in New Delhi in 2010. Majority of the controversies that were around those games were related to corruption within. As far as the organization of the event was concerned, that was top notch, and I heard foreign athletes at that time, I'd covered those games, also have high praise for how the event was managed. So I think that distinction we'll have to make. between a professionally managed event. This unfortunately was not a professionally managed event. I don't know what happens from here on, but as I said earlier as well, the kind of information that I'm getting from people who have been on the periphery of this event, the reports aren't good. I don't know how good the next few legs, that is Hyderabad, Mumbai and Delhi, will be. Will they be incident free? I'm not too sure about that as well.
Right, Nikhil. I think we've looked at some very crucial points that you have raised, and yes, we will take this up with a panel of guests who will be joining us in a short while. But right now, viewers, let me quickly just first up take you through some more details of certain events of similar kinds that's taken place, unfortunately, in the city of Joy. When Kala turns ugly in Kolkata. This is what we have, in fact, pieced together at this given point. Remember, let me take you back to 1996. It was the India versus Sri Lanka semi-finale, wherein there was disagreement with politics that had taken place and fires, bottle thrown. Again, there was a pitch invasion. There had been several seats that had completely been put on fire. Then we had seen the India versus Pakistan match in 1999. Fans had stormed the pitch after Sachin had been just run out after 9 runs. And bottles were again thrown at the very player. And that time, Sachin was again cordoned off and brought out of the stadium post the entire fiasco went down. If you look at international sportsmen visiting the country, visiting the very city of Joy, this is Maradona's first visit in 2008, when fans had mobbed the airport itself and Maradona's convoy, with his car windows being smashed, and then later on there was a lathi charge that had been imposed by the police. That was the situation in 2008. That was his first visit, remember. Again, Lionel Messi's first visit was in 2011 for a representative match that he had come to play. Even then, it was fans who had, in fact, completely smashed barricades at the airport, surged into the stadium. There were security barriers that were breached, and that is when there were again alarm bells were rung, and then the police had to escort him out of the very airport as well as the stadium. Again, Maradona's second visit, and this very visual had in fact gone viral at that time back in 2017, because this was at a press conference right after the charity match visit turned ugly, wherein his convoy again was attacked by certain sports enthusiasts with stones, and they had even hurled themselves at the car windows, and that is the episode which had really upset him. Second time when he was visiting, this was happening in the city of Joy, and this was in Barashat, in fact, just a little outskirts of the city of Joy. Messi's visit, present day, 2025, when chaos erupted again after complete mismanagement of the crowd hurling bottles, breaking chairs, vandalism seen at the stadium, and then we could see how they in fact stormed into the ground itself after Messi was taken away by the security guards who were deployed for his own safety. So this is the entire situation, how it spanned across years in the city of Joy, be it Eden Gardens, be it the Salt Lake Stadium. We have seen certain incidents of this kind take place. Let me introduce you to the panel for the evening. Professor Monojit Mondal, political analyst and TMC supporter, and BJP spokesperson RP Singh joining us on the broadcast. Gentlemen, thank you for speaking to us on India Today, and we are discussing a rather unfortunate incident that's taken place in a city which indeed loves football from the bottom of its heart. And Professor Mondal, I'll take my first question from you at this given point. My first point would be, when the entire incident happened, yes, organizers are to be interrogated, yes, organizers are to be questioned, the blame definitely falls on the lapses. But the first response that came in from the TMC, even before the Chief Minister had spoken out, was not an apology as to what happened. It was already a political blame game that we saw started playing out, instead of some sort of an acknowledgement coming in and also some sort of an onus being taken by the party spokesperson. And this is Kunal Ghosh that I'm referring to.
I don't think anyone's word should be taken seriously when Madam Mamata Banerjee speaks. I think she spoke her mind out. She could not reach the spot to sort of witness or to meet Mr. Messi. So I don't think I'll go by any other words but the word of Ms. Banerjee. But having said that, I mean, you can't blame the city or even the government. You were talking about the long list since 1996. We all witnessed what happened in 1996. This is because of the dismal performance after Sachin's run out. But I would have loved to see in the list what happened 3 months back in Bangalore, when I think how many people were killed, nobody knows. There was also a sports event. At least in Kolkata, that things that have never happened. And this is many people at the end of the day, you have to think about the frenzy and in terms of the fans, what they are behaving. They should also know how to behave. Despite the fact that the chief minister has apologized to the fans, to Mr. Messi, but all the events that you narrated, where I think over enthusiasts or the frenzy of the spectators are the principal reason. Here, the organizers should have become more cautious. They should have taken much precautionary measures, and that's the simple reason that I think the principal organizers, Mr. Dotto, or I don't know what is his name, he was arrested. And that is the accountability on the part of the government. The government can do best by fixing accountability. That's what the government is doing. Unlike in other states, where I think few days ago, 24 people were killed in a Goa fire. Nothing happened. The organizers still, I think the hotel owners are at large. The same thing
Mr.
happened in
Mondal,
Gujarat.
I understand what you're saying
BJP
here.
era.
I understand what you're saying here, but the references you're
saying
making are of a little bit of a different incident here. One is of a stampede, one is a completely different incident that you're referencing here. We are speaking of a personality who's been welcomed in the city of joy, and with all eyes across the world being set on this very city. And that is where we see such a lapse.
Fans, there are videos where where the people are running up. Please check the videos. Who are these people with saffron flags? The people are saying that there are some deliberate attempts to create this mayhem. So I think everything is under investigation. The ADG Law and Order has taken charge of the situation. Chief Minister has constituted an inquiry committee. So
the inquiry to happen, and then blame the government. From the very beginning, Mr. Sukanta Majumdar has come out and saying that this is a government who can't organize any event, and this is the government where law and order is completely falling out. They have started the politics, and the TMC has got every right to defend by saying that this has got nothing to do with the government or the TMC as a party.
We understand the government stance here that yes, a probe has been launched, but then your party has been coming out to say this, and you yourself are mentioning this, that there was a certain kind of flag that was spotted. What is the party trying to insinuate with that? I would want you to elaborate a little more, and then I'll take up that question with Mr. Singh.
The people that I'm talking about, who are these people? I'm not insinuating anything. Who are these people? Did they come to the field? Did they jump onto the field deliberately to create the mayhem? That has to be inquired into. Everything is under camera. Everything can be seen what happened. I think the police is trying to draw the line. Police is trying to jot down all those sequence of events, and then only we can think about what has happened. But nonetheless, look at the responsibility of the government. The government has taken prompt action. FIR has been lodged. The principal organizers he has been arrested. The government is trying its best to do it. In fact, the apology is also coming out from the highest authority in the state, none other than Chief Minister. So why lies the question of politicizing the whole issue? And that should be done by BJP. BJP is politicizing. We have got every right to counter. Right? That's what we're simply doing. BJP
we understand your stance. Let me take this. In fact, let me take what you have pointed out itself to Mr. Singh next. Mr. Singh, you know, the TMC has come out to say this, that there are certain flags, saffron flags that could be spotted at the very venue when the entire chaos erupted. Your first response on that before we enter into what exactly went down for this mayhem to be caused at the stadium.
Well, I'm not using a harsh word, but this is all a crap. I mean, you can understand what sort of mindset the TMC and the Mamata Banerjee has. I mean, they are not still taking the onus of the complete incident which happened. Such lawlessness, and then Mamata Banerjee said, I was on the way. What were you on the way to? Way to the chaos? I mean, and they could have learned the lesson of what happened in Karnataka earlier. They could have learned the lesson on what happened in Madonna's visit, during Madonna's visit earlier. But no, I mean, there's nothing to learn from. They have to only find out saffron flag, Hindu ideology. I mean, they have to only accuse and blame Hindus and Hindu ideology and Sanatana. That's all they can do. Instead of, I mean, where was the police there? Let me ask a very blunt question. She is the Home Minister. Why was not a police arrangement made? I mean, how could an event like this, an international event like this, happening in your state, in the capital of the state? How was the police missing? How was the administration missing? I mean, you can't blame it on the people who has organized the show. You can organize on the event manager of the show, saying that, oh, it was the event management company which was supposed to handle it. No, not at all. They couldn't have done this without the permission, without taking the permission from the local state government.
But Mr. Singh,
When
can
will
we
they start
completely
owning this?
say that
For the country?
can we completely say that the organizers were not at fault at this given point?
How can organizer do something without the consent, even like this, without the consent of the state, without the consent of the police, without the proper conditions being taken, conditions applying on the event manager by the local administration, by the police? How could they do this? I mean, this can't be done in isolation. I mean, it is being done in tandem with the state government. And when Mamata Banerjee was on record saying that I was on the way to the stadium, it means she was aware of the program, she was going to participate in the program. So the program which she is going to participate, and this is the final outcome of the program, this is shame not for Bengal only. I mean, this is shame for the country. I mean, Mamata Banerjee has let down the fans of the football, fans of the people of Bengal, and also the complete community, the community which follows the football worldwide. I mean, what face we will have?
So that is the question you're posing to the TMC.
This is how we organize our programs.
That is the question you're posing to the TMC. Professor Mondal, I'll come to you, and let me just add on to what Mr. Singh has said. The question is posed that is the responsibility just on the organizer? What about the police deployments by the state government? Why not provide support to the organizers? My question to you here is also with regards to a certain VIP culture that we see, because most of the voices today outside the stadium after the entire situation unfolded, they had to say that there was a crowd of people that had completely surrounded the star, which is why they couldn't catch a glimpse. And that's why the entire fury from the people, and that's when they stormed into the ground. That was their main complaint. That's where they feel let down. If we speak of the VIP culture today, there is one question that's been raised by the BJP as well, and that is with regards to the sports minister of Bengal consistently being there with Messi. While we understand that, but yes, there were several such political associates that we could see alongside Messi. The crowd with their own security guards, of course, Messi's own bodyguards as well. So the crowd that was created, it was not with regards to other people, other fans who had completely surrounded this international footballer, this hero that people wanted a glimpse of. It was certain political associates. It was people who enjoy the VIP culture at this given point that we are speaking of, which in fact ended up depriving the people to get a glimpse of Messi at the ground.
I have understood your long question. In fact, that is my answer. Who created this VIP culture? Who had given them personal access?
But it's your own minister, sir. It is your own minister, sir.
No, madam. It is the organizer who decides. Who will be around that person? It is the sole decision of the organizer. If the organizer doesn't invite, even the minister can't go. That's what precisely I'm saying. Who gave this access, personal access to Mr. Messi? Some journalist, some actor, some sports person from other sport. And who gave this? This is decided by the organizer only, not by the government, not by the politician.
But if your government's representative is attending the event with the very player who's come out to visit, how can you say that the government is not responsible at all?
If the government representative is invited,
they will go because they are also fan of Mr. Messi. So was Miss Mamata Banerjee. Fortunately, she could not go. That's quite. Otherwise, you could have entirely blamed Miss Banerjee if she would have raised the sport and she was around Mr. Messi. What kind of logic is this? This is the politics that we want to counter. And if this is apparently prima facie, it appears that this is the reason that the normal common fans They could not see Mr. Messi, rather the VIP culture, including, mind you, the journalists. Some of the journalists saying that, oh, I have seen the gods in my life. What kind of nonsense is this? For God's sake, madam, and the sports journalist, Calcutta is not known for Messi only. Calcutta has got bigger history. Much bigger. Calcutta is the land of Tagore, Ramkrishna, Nazrul and Mahatma Gandhi. Calcutta is not known for this kind of mayhem either. Please, for God's sake, do not justify.
We understand what you're trying to say. We're deviating a little from what the entire discussion is, Professor Mondal, but I understand the stance you're putting forward. Mr. Singh, I want a very short response from you on what Professor Mondal has said, because we've completely run out of time. A closing remark.
Simply was one thing to say: when the government sponsors the optics, controls the machinery and commands the police, it can't escape the responsibility of what has happened today. It's all the responsibility of Mamata Banerjee and her government. She is only one person to be blamed for all this chaos which happened and which has let us down in the international community.
Right. R.P. Singh from the BJP and Professor Manojit Mondal from the TMC joining us on the broadcast on India Today, on the special broadcast on this very question that we are addressing today, the messy mess in the city of joy. Who is to be blamed? And that seems to be the question of the very hour. Thank you for tuning in to India Today on this very special broadcast.